Eric? Oh. Eric. Eric, what are you doing on that? Oh, crikey. Hi Flosstube, I'm back for my 4th Flosstube and thank you so much. I had 2 shout outs between my last video and today. It's been 2 weeks since I've done one of these. I'm going to try and keep it at 2 weeks unless I feel the need to do more. I've had two shout outs, so I've had lots and lots of views and loads of new subscribers, so thank you very much. Thank you for all your lovely comments as well. I really appreciate it. Kim, I'm gonna have to, I'm never sure how to say her name. Kim Hollenbach shouted me out on her Flosstube. She is Full Coverage Fanatics. I think she's one of the administrators for the group. She's absolutely lovely. I've been and watched loads of her Flosstubes now because I hadn't realised that she did a Flosstube as well as commenting on everybody's full coverages on the group. So it was really lovely of her. And Darren, the Dizzy Stitcher, shouted me out as well, so I've been and watched some of his. He's a Brit, sounds like he's from Yorkshire to me, somewhere in Yorkshire, who's moved to Australia and does cross stitch. Not many blokes on here doing cross stitch, so it's really nice to see a bloke doing it because it's a fantastic hobby really, isn't it? It's not all middle-aged mums doing it like me. Anyway, so I've got 3 finishes. I have finished and 2 of them are fully up there. They're finished. I've fully finished the stitching on 2 of my long dogs. Yay! Let me show you it. I finished my sansui. Here it is, completely finished. All the stitching, all the back stitching and the bits of reverse back stitching. Here we go. So there's the bit at the bottom. It actually only took me about 3 days to finish it. There's the bit at the bottom that I hadn't finished last time. That close to the edge. Holy moly. I did make a little clip of putting in the last few stitches, but I think I'm going to make a video of how I'm going to actually mount this, because obviously you can see from the lack of my planning there on the piece of fabric, it's far too tight to call. So I'm gonna have to be very careful how I mount this. So I might make a little video while I do that, just as a here's what I did, not as a here's what you do, because obviously what you do is you get a piece of fabric big enough. I mean, I could have started a centimetre from the top and I'd have had an extra centimetre at the bottom, but c'est la vie. So I am so super pleased with this. It's been brilliant to stitch it. I've had so much fun with it. There it is. And the most wonderful thing, I didn't actually even know until Kim said on her Flosstube, when she shouted me out, she actually said that Jules Line, who designs these, had actually put it up on her proper long dog Facebook page, which of course I've liked already, but I hadn't been and looked at it, and it was there with pictures of like the first person. Somebody has actually finished Pandemic. Can you believe it? I mean, I see a few pictures where they're getting close, but somebody's actually finished it already, and it was there with the, you know, in amongst those pictures. And she'd written a lovely long spiel. Absolutely brilliant. Completely blew me away, honestly. No idea that she'd have even seen it. My second little finish, which is my little finish, is Michelle Bendy Stitchy. Here's Acceptance. And I have finished this. There it is. And it's on a little tiny piece of Picture This Plus Helix. 32 count helix. I bought a little scrap from one of the online, it's called the Patchwork Rabbit. I really like her. She's an actual LNS, but obviously because I'm in the middle, I have no access to them, living where I live. I buy from her online. So I finished that off, little tiny piece of helix. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to obviously got to iron it and put it in a little frame, and I'm going to put it up at work, because I think for us in the situation we're in at work at the moment, with tourism the way it is, where I work, we make little gifts and products for their tourist items. So at the moment we've got very few orders. It's very difficult. We don't quite know what's happening with the company going forwards. So I think Acceptance, there's got to be a way through it. Yes, so there we go. And my other finish, I finally got my butt into gear. Well, cross stitch day. I thought, right, I finished Sansui and it's done. I need to finish quilts, because all I had left on quilts was the back stitch. So I set to, I actually had to print out the entire thing because I stitched it in Pattern Keeper, and I had to print out the PDF because my phone's so tiny I couldn't see it. I had to do the back stitch. So you can see it's only little bits like the roofs of the houses. Again, the roof of that house there is all back stitched. The legs on the chickens, and there's the main bit of back stitch to make these cartwheels and the reins, and up in the bell tower here has got some back stitch. And then at the bottom, oh, my arm's just about long enough, there was just a little tiny bit along the bottom of this quilt, and the cat's whiskers, and this window, little tiny bits. I searched right through the PDF till I made sure I found all the little bits of back stitch. So that's another one that I can get mounted, and Robin will make me a frame for it. So when they are FFO'd, obviously I'll show you, but depending on how quickly I get myself sorted out to do that. There we are. So 3 finishes. I'm really pleased that they are done and finished. Quilts I started, I said in my first Flosstube, I started the first day I was furloughed. It was 23rd of March, and I was used to working 9 to 5, so I basically stitched 9 to 5 and 16 days of stitching and an hour of back stitching to finish it. 4 months later, stunned I finished it at all. Actually, I'm a non-finisher. There, right. So I'll show you the progress I've made on some of the other things. I've picked up Pandemic here and there. I've not done, my needle minders have just stuck themselves together. I've not done very much on it. I'm going to have to take one of these off because they keep clipping together because it's off the frame. Right, there we go. So here's my Pandemic, and basically all I've done is I've done this bit here, put on the little squirrel, and done these bits here. I've come around here and I've come up this side. So let me see if I can give you a better picture of my Pandemic. This is on 40 count, Picture This Plus Tidal, which is a lovely green. And I'm using my Mrs. Sadus hydrangea. I'm using 1 strand over 2 threads, my first go at 40 count, and I'm enjoying it. I am actually enjoying it, and I'm thinking now that I'm probably going to buy more of the higher counts to use 1 thread because it makes your thread go so much further. So yeah, it's going to be a whopper. It's a huge piece of fabric and I love it, and I want to do, I'm probably just going to work a little bit on it here and there as I get through it. When I fancy. Okay, what have we got next? Oh, Dilemma. Did a little bit of Dilemma. Again, I'm working off a paper pattern on Dilemma here. So, partly because I've now taken the update of Pattern Keeper, so maybe we can put it in Pattern Keeper now, because Pattern Keeper's got very, very much better. If you haven't updated your Pattern Keeper yet, get yourself onto the Google Play Store and update. It is a huge update. Things that didn't load before load in now. You can load in your own PDFs. You can, it's just, if you've got Pattern Keeper, and if you haven't got Pattern Keeper, why haven't you got Pattern Keeper? Because it is amazing. Yeah, loads of patterns that didn't load before will now load. I loaded in a pattern from Lakeside Needlecraft, one of their exclusive patterns. You can go in, if you get like, if you buy PDFs that have got, oh, I wonder if I can put Arial in. I bet I can. Oh my goodness, I'll go so much faster. Sorry, totally off thread there. If you buy a pattern from somewhere like, say, on Etsy, and you get a black and white version, a colour version, and then a version with all the backstitch on, what it now lets you do is delete all the pages where it doubles up, which used to confuse Pattern Keeper completely. You can just remove all those pages so it only reads the black and white pattern pages, and you can actually set the grid to the right size of the chart. amazing. And then it reads it, and then sometimes you've got to go and faff on with the DMC numbers and things like that, but it's no biggie. For the time saving Pattern Keeper gives you, it's no biggie to have to go and faff with it a little bit. So here's my dilemma here, and at the moment, so I've got this frame pretty much done. What I'm trying to do is making sure I've got enough fabric, because I'm doing all 16 squares of dilemma. If I remember, I'll pop a picture up of it, because I don't have a picture here of it. It's the most wonderful pattern, but it gives you a frame with all these beautiful, very obviously long dog borders, and it's a block of 9, so 3 and 3, but she gives you 16 different blocks to stitch into the spaces. So I want to do all 16. So I need to know whether all 16 are going to fit. So obviously I'm going to do 4 and 4. I'm thinking they will, onto my piece of fabric, which is a 36 count. It's called Granite, and it's a Lakeside Needlecraft exclusive. It's a Laguna, so it's even weave. It's lovely. It's so easy to stitch on. But again, because it's a 36 count, I can use 1 strand, which is just as well, because I'm doing the background in Karen Water Lilies. This is pomegranate, and it's absolutely beautiful. There's the colour, and that's how it stitches up. Oh, it's so lovely. But it's 12 strands, so over one strand is brilliant, because it's going an awfully long way, because it's very expensive. Okay, so, oh, Anzac, my poor Anzac, my next long dog. I knew I'd made a mistake. I knew I'd made a mistake. Here's where I am, my beautiful Anzac. Again, this is a Lakeside even weave, 36 count, Lakeside Needlecraft, and it's called Lilac Sky, and it is ever so slightly like a purpley, ever so, that's actually good. It's showing up the mottling. Actually, that colour right there, you can see the stitching before the camera takes it, is perfect. They're both dinky dyes. This one is Blue Groper and this one is Down Under Blues. And there's my echidna, and he wasn't there before, so I've done him, and I filled in all this bit, and then I had some frogging. Again, I've taken some pictures. I frogged out the frog. Here there is a magpie holding a frog, and I knew I'd made a mistake. I absolutely knew there was a mistake, and I thought, I'll fudge it in. It's not one of those long dogs with the board, you know, with the geometric border that has to be right. It has to be right, otherwise it looks shocking. I thought, I'll fudge it, it'll be fine. And then I got to this crocodile. He has just, sorry, I'm handling that really poorly. There's the crocodile's teeth here, and I got to him and it was obvious it was not going to match well. Really out. It was actually out by 5 stitches. 5 stitches out. So I spent a long time looking at it, and my mistake, and this is how much I've got to unpick, is here. My miscount is here. So I fudged it from here, up here, right through him. He was done. There's his bum, which is wrong. There's his face. There's his beak, and there's the frog in his beak. So this was 5 stitches wrong, like that, and I'd fudged everything. So where I decided to go, I picked it up here and I stitched across, all correct, everything matched up to there. And then I stitched down, and this all matches here, so this bit's fine. I got down to here, came down the side, I know this is right, and came across these wales to get to the frog, and that's when it was so far out I just had to frog it. So we're in timeout, gone into timeout, I'm afraid. I'm a bit disheartened. I have still got to unpick out all his butt, this bit of blue, and down into this here to fix the mistake that is a miscount there. I've put in an extra 4 stitches and then counted up from the border. It's like I did it twice, so it was 4 stitches out. Got to come out. Boo. So my Anzac, my beautiful long dog Anzac, is in timeout. Coming out of timeout was the other thing I'd made a massive mistake on and got so far behind that I lost heart. Here is my temperature tree. Again, if I have a picture, I'll put it in of what it looked like before, after I'd done the frogging and got cross with it. Basically, I'm in April and this is August's branch, so all of this should be filled in. Now, I've made a little bit of a, I mean, I love it. This is the temperature tree. It's from Sarah Hughes, who is Sarah the Stitching Mommy. She's on Etsy. She's here on Flosstube. She's everywhere. She's absolutely lovely. This is one of her pieces, and my tree is stitched in cinnamon, which it's just fabulous. I had to wait as well because after I'd frogged out all the branch I did wrong, I made a mistake on, I can still see where I frogged, May's branch, really huge mistake. So June's branch was basically hitting May's branch because I'd made such a big mistake. So I'd done probably that much of it, so I had to take out that branch, this bit, and then I've restitched it. So I needed to get more floss, so I had to wait for the Gentle Art cinnamon to come back into stock. I found one again at the Patchwork Rabbit. She's a lovely lady. I got my Tidal as well for my pandemic from her. Really helpful. I'm slightly grumpy because I picked the medium temperature as opposed to the highs or the lows. I've picked the average for the day, so all of my leaves are going to be about the same. I've got a couple of hot days because we are shockingly hot at the moment. My hot days are going to be on this branch, so I'm trying to catch myself up now. I've caught up, I've fixed my mistake, but there's my temperature tree, and I fixed actually quite a lot of it and I just restitched quite a lot of the branches because I've met how it's been in timeout since I think it was April the 2nd I'd done 2 or something, so that's when it went into timeout. I want to catch back up with that. And then the last long dog I've worked on, my last long dog, is my Pilgrim, and I've actually found the cover sheet for that. This I don't have on PDF. I'm using a paper pattern because I bought a paper pattern for it. I didn't realise, I hadn't actually found the website or anything. I just stumbled across it and loved it and coveted them, and then I was tentative. This is probably a year ago. I was tentative of buying a PDF, so I bought the paper pattern covered in coffee. Now I'm looking through it, there's a great big splotch of coffee on it here, but never mind, it's only the cover sheet. So that's my Pilgrim, all of it, and when I hold it up you'll see how little I've done and how much stitching I've done. I have got the page finish. I did make a little video when I picked it back up because it's easier to splice a video in with the editing thing that I downloaded, my little free editing thing. It's easier to splice a video in than it is to splice a picture in from my album, so I made a little video about it and I'll pop it in here. Here's my Pilgrim. I've not picked it up for maybe 6, maybe even 8 weeks now. It's been a long time since I've done any. So what I want to do to finish off this page, I need to fill in this bit, and there's a little bit along here and a little bit up the side of this monstrous raven, which I need to get done. So that's what I'm going to work on, and then I'll pull out the next page and probably start this bit under here. But that's where I'm heading. I'm going to do some work on him now. To show you where I'd got to and what I wanted to do. Now I've not done very much since then, but here it is. That's what I've done so far. So I am one page here page 4 off finishing the top, you know, getting the full width in. So I'm 1 page off finishing the width. And then only all of this to go, because it's going to fit. It's going to fit the fabric, which I dyed myself. I believe it's a 28 count. Again, it's a Laguna. Yes, it is. It's 28 count. So I'm doing 2/2. So my dear little bit of darling Jan, I saw it from Jan Hicks. It's Mrs. Sadus silk, Raquel from Mrs. Sadus. Darling colourway, absolutely beautiful. Oh, there's Pandemic's hydrangea. I've seen some pictures up of people who are starting to receive theirs. Mine is a lot less purple. It's showing very, very purple. If I can change its colour out a bit, putting something behind it, maybe putting a white behind it. Yeah, that's more like mine. Mine is much more pastel. I've seen some that are pictures like that, really purple. Mine's a much more subtle pastel-y hydrangea. Perfectly happy with it. Absolutely love it. And yeah, so I go off topic. Sorry, I go off topic. I really do, all the time. So what I did to finish off the page was I finished off just this little bit up here. I'm actually up, not quite. I've just got a little tiny bit more to do here. And then that's done. And I filled in here that wasn't filled in, and done all the back stitch on that and all the cross hatching in this area here, and did this little bit here just to finish the page off. So I'll pull the page below and start that, but I want to keep on with it. This is my Long Dog Leap Day SAL, which is 2 martini stitches plan of doing a long dog in 4 years, because I'd only got, when I jumped on the SAL, I had only got 1,000 stitches in, which was basically that bit. So I started on the Leap Day, 29th of February, obviously, and that was when I took to it in earnest. So that's pretty much been since February that I've done that. And then I picked out yesterday, I wanted something easy to stitch, and I picked up the piece I bought. Sorry, it's still in my Q-snap, I will take it out. I picked up the first thing I bought to start back cross stitching after doing a sampler when I was a kid and half a dimensions kit when I was in my mid-20s, late 20s, long time ago, late 20s. Anyway, it's forever ago, I'm so old. So my first go back was, sorry about the shiny pattern, Shores of Hawk Run Hollow. Yep. And I am doing it on a piece of permin, blue, 13 threads. I don't know what count that comes out at. 13 threads per centimetre. It's got like 32 inches. That's either the size, which is not the size. No, it must be 32 count, I think. 2 strands is quite tight. 2 strands gives it a really good coverage, but I'm doing it with 2 strands, and it is very stiff, as you can see. I went by the colour because I like this cornflowery blue colour. So what I'd done before and I've shown before was the first block there. I'm changing absolutely all the colours. You'll see in a minute the riot of colour my next block is. It's me, so there we go. So I changed the words and moved things about, moved the seagulls, changed the waves to be more wavy. So my next block, which I've only changed the colours on the next block, here we are, and this is what I've finished. I had done the seaweed, this fish and the crabby crab and the 2 little fishes on that side. So I picked that up yesterday and did the seahorse. Now I used my lovely old silks for him. And this fish here, and I did the eel. He's all backstitched and everything. And then these little fishies here, and they're done to match these guys, but they're not in the same threads because yeah, lost them already. They were only, this was only old stash stuff anyway, so I picked near enough colours. These are actually leftovers from Sansui now that I'm using. Oh well. This burgundy here I pulled out of quilts because I'm just popped them back in with the pile. Oh, this is so badly stitched. I can't tell you how terrible it is. Here you go if you want to see it up close. The stitches are terrible. I've got a row of half stitches at the bottom. They're all going in different directions. I was just back to cross stitch. I can look at that now, not even 2 years later, and go, oh, it's awful. It's totally staying. It's my progression. The last block had better be bloody perfect. So here's next block. I got to the bottom, and to make it line up, I've had to do over 3. Can you see my bottom line there is over 3 strands, just to make it line up, because obviously I counted so badly in this block that this block has had to be longer to accommodate. I'll put the extra stitch in the side borders next, so that the bottom of the next block, which is the mermaid block, I'm excited because she's gorgeous, lines up a little bit nicer. But I'm really happy, and that's my second block done. So it's going to fit on here. I've done a bit of the length border there. There's the bottom, so at least I got it fitting on the fabric nicely. So that's 2 blocks done. So I'll count that as kind of a mini finish because it's quite a lot of stitching. I think that's one of the least full coverage of them. Sorry, I'm just going to crinkle just for a minute. I'm not, because the pattern won't come out. The cover sheet won't come out. Poo. So I bought the pattern from this company here, Arts and Designs. They are just up the road from me, but it's not a physical shop. They just run out of their, you know, they've just got an online, but they are absolutely brilliant. They ship so quickly. They've got some really old patterns. They stock full anchor, they stock full DMC, they stock a lot of fancy threads, especially they've got weeks, a lot of the silks. They've got really good stock and they're super quick. So I'm going on to this block here, the mermaid. I've already picked out, I've got a DMC variations there and blue jay. I'll cobble the sea, I'll do a little bit here, a little bit there just to make it up. And then the mermaid, she's going to have a beautiful purple tail, possibly something metallic. But I hate stitching in metallic, so possibly not. We shall see. We'll see how I'm feeling when I get to it. And the house won't be white, and the tree in front of the house won't be sludge colour. It'll be bright. This is going to be super, super bright. Otherwise, it won't match in with the super bright bits I've done already. So that's my stitching. That's what I've done in the last fortnight. Doesn't feel, because I was doing the full coverage Fanatics challenge and I was doing so many stitches, it doesn't feel like I've done a lot, but I think it's a fair old bit. So wonder what that was. Oh well. So that's the stitching done. I'm going to try not to go off piece for too much today. I've already investigated my boxes and everything. Sorry about that last time. I just haven't been up here for such a long time, but you know, been up here a bit now. Okay, so since I was last here, I have had a birthday. I am now 44. I feel incredibly old. There we go. 27 minutes this time. That's good. Better than the 9 minutes I got last time. Right. I work in 4s. I'm one of these people who counts in 4s for everything. So 44. Let's hope it's a good number for me. So I have a couple of gifts. This is my new bag, which my daughter, my eldest daughter, she's 17 and a half. She painted this for me. These are polar dragons. There's 3. There's one doing a flip in the middle, and there's one on each of the icebergs. And here is a little, I'm thinking it's probably a gas tanker with just one spherical tank. The ones I were on had 4 spherical tanks, much bigger. But she's an absolute sweetheart. Isn't this just beautiful? You should see. I'll see if I can steal her school bag and show you that. Oh, yeah, for 10 minutes. But we get these bags in our local hobby shop, Hobbycraft here in the UK, and she paints on them. That's acrylic paint. They last a full school year, used every day at school. She had one last year. She's got a different one for this year. They last a full school year, totally waterproof. Just amazing. It doesn't come off. I'm trying to coerce her into painting lots and lots of them so we can put them in the Etsy shop. But she likes to do one-off pieces. We'll see. We'll see when she goes to university just how much she needs money. And my other present is my box. My partner Robin has made me an oak box. This is made from the cut-off piece from the oak sleeper we did our mantel shelf with. So it's absolutely beautiful. It's got this is all in. If I hold it this angle, I can't even see this marking. It's all in the wood. It's from a, so he's hand cut me dovetails. We're going to get a nicer latch for it and bigger hinges, because this is just what he had, because he's been making little boxes. But it's absolutely beautiful. There's my gubbins in there. So I have a box, and I'm going to keep all my bits and pieces in here, my scissors and all sorts of things. It's incredibly heavy. But he's just trying out, he's just learning how to make boxes and things. So that was my presents. I also got given my Robin's mum, who's not technically my mother-in-law because we aren't married, but she treats us and my 3 girls who aren't Robin's, she treats us all just like family. She's a lovely, lovely lady. She gave me Lakeside Needlecraft gift vouchers. So I've spent one of them and I'm keeping, sorry about that, had to delete some videos off. I've definitely fixed the problem. Oh, my lighting's a little bit squinty there. Is that any better? No, it's getting dark. It's actually 5:45 in the evening. I would have done filming this morning, except I had to run around after 2 of my children who got dropped off in, like, I dropped one off in the middle of nowhere where one of her pals lives, picked the other one up from a field where she's been camping for 3 nights with some of her pals. So it was really lovely. So I'm almost at the end of it. So where had I got to? I can't even remember. I'm so sorry. I'm still disorganised. I tell you, I'm going to try and put some things in my drop down boxy thing this time. We'll see how I get on. I don't know. Anyway, so last time I offered up this little needle minder here, which has got the cogs in it. I took a lucky dip of anyone who'd mentioned my needle minders at all. I took a lucky dip, and I'm going to send this one to Audrey Lack McDevitt. So Audrey, I'm going to go comment on the comment you left me. Thank you very much for leaving a comment. Thanks to everybody who left comments. So I'm going to send this to you. If you just email me your mailing address, and I'll pop that in the post for you, no bother. Now this week I have another little needle minder up for grabs. It's one of my dragon's eyes, one of my different dragon's eyes, because it's not the scales, it's got like a swirly bit around it. So anyway, this one's up for grabs. There's a needle minder here. Sorry, that's my daughter buzzing me to say, can you leave in half an hour and come and get me from the middle of nowhere. So that one there's up for grabs. So there we go. And oh, I did some knitting. So there's another prize, but I have to tell you about this before I can give you the prize. Right, so it's been a while since I've done these. I used to have an Etsy, I've still got my Etsy shop, used to be called Emily's Original Knits, all one long word. I've got no active listings. I've got all my listings still there, so I suppose I could reactivate them if I wanted to, but if you want to go and look through the reviews and things, you can see the people put pictures up, so you can see the sort of things I used to sell. Mostly all my handmade knitted things. So I pulled out my needles, and here is one of my little piggies. Now there he is. He is knitted in 4-ply, which I hand dyed with the speckle so that he comes out and I caught him. He comes out a spotty pig. He has a little curly tail. I knit him in the round and then catch up stitches to give him his little ears, my own little pattern, and it's just a little, we call it knitted smoke. It's something you don't need, but it's rather cute. And then equally, a little bit more of a wild piggy. He's a ginger one. Same pattern. And then occasionally, and this is the freebie if you want him, occasionally I make them a little bit smaller. Let's see if I can do this. See how shaky I am today. There. No, I'm shaky. Oh, I have a little bit of a thing going on with adrenaline. There is a little pink pig, and he is about that size. Now he is knitted on 1 1/4 millimetre needles. There he is. Oh, he's fallen over. But there he is, little pink pig. Not quite an inch long. Exactly the same pattern, little curly tail. So, if you'd like a chance to win him, give me a little comment and either say dragon or pig. I don't mind if you leave me a little emoji for a little pig or a little dragon. I'm not getting enough. I've not got hundreds and hundreds of comments to read through, loads more than I had last time. And what I'll do if anybody wants him, because he's lovely, anybody wants him, when I've done the random selector thing, I'm not just randomly choosing somebody, sort of collecting up the comments and picking a number and correspond, you know, like everybody does for these things. So when we have a little bit of send me your details, it'll be let me know whether you want me to put him on a little keychain or a little stitch marker, or you can just have him as a little piggy and I'll pop him in the post. And leave me a little dragon, either the word dragon or a little emoji of a dragon, again the word pig or a little emoji for pig. I'll read through all the comments anyway, so I'll just note down your name and which one you ask for both, and I'll put you in both dips for both. So, but obviously I'll send to 2 different people if it comes up. I can't imagine anything would come up with the same name twice, but it's me, so it probably would. So there we go. So that's the 2 little gizzards for this video. I'll put them safe back in my box so I don't lose them in this horrible room. This needle minder, Audrey Black McDevitt. I will comment on your comment. Please send me your details. And that's me done for today. I think that's everything. So plans going forwards, I'm going to stitch on whatever I fancy. I'm hankering going back to some of my full coverage. Now I've thought of putting my aerial into Pattern Keeper. I'm going to totally try that once I've picked my daughter up. I'm going to see if I can get that loaded, because that will help me so much if I can get that loaded in. But again, if you haven't updated your Pattern Keeper, go and take the update. Honestly, brilliant. And thanks again to Kim and Darren who shouted me out. I'm really happy that somebody's found me and shouted me out, and it's brilliant. And thank you to all my new watchers, the subscribers, that I now have some subscribers. I know I had some before, and thank you so much for the ones who found me first, because it's brilliant. And hopefully about 2 weeks, I believe I'm going back on furlough from work, probably in early part of next week, and then should be off again, so I might get a whole ton of stitching done. If I do and I get loads done, I'll be back earlier to do another video to show you what I'm up to. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I haven't watched it back yet to see if it's any good, but I stopped today and did a bit of stitching. I was going to take you for a little walk around, but honestly there were so many people and the weather was horrible. It was like the sky was getting lower and lower and lower, and then it tipped with rain, so I didn't actually get out of the car because I'm a bit lazy like that. I will take you back there when it's really sunny, because it's worth a good view. It's really close to my house, but yeah. Anyway, I might tag that on the end, but that'll be the only bit of it. And thank you so much for watching, and thank you to everybody, and do lots of stitching, and I will as well. I'll see you soon. Bye bye. Hi, so I'm just sitting in my car. I'm in between dropping off my middle daughter and picking up my eldest daughter. One to a house in the middle of nowhere, and the other one's been camping in a field for 2 days with her pals. So I've just been sitting in my car and I've just finished the block. I just had a little bit of the border down here to go, and I've just started. I've done 2 threads there of the next square. This is my Hawk Run Hollow, which I've just shown you. This is the shores of Hawk Run Hollow. Yeah, no, none of the charted colours, obviously. Okay, so I'm sitting here. I was going to get out and do you a bit of a show and tell, but there is a steady stream of visitors here. So this is where I currently am perched up. Clearly not got out of my car because there's people everywhere, which is really peculiar, because usually it's Dead Man's Gulch up here. I forget that it is the middle of August and it is a little bit touristy. So I'm perched on a little bit of Hadrian's Wall. That isn't Hadrian's Wall in front of me, but that is probably made from Hadrian's Wall, as is probably everything made of stone that you can see around, because all the houses, all the dry stone walls. And you can see we are looking south here. So that's down into England, and I actually live in the hill. I live behind that hill there. So it's a long way from, it's not a long way from here, and it's clearly raining at home because the sky is gloomy. There's the edge of the front, the weather front there. The weather's moving that way, so the rain will be a wee while at home yet, but I won't be home for a while because I've got to go and pick my daughter from the field. So this is lovely rolling northern England countryside in a very dreich day. Okay, I'll catch you. This is probably going on the end of the video, so you've probably already just watched my Flosstube, but I'll catch you later. Bye for now.